So Trey Murphy introduced himself to the NBA world last season, finally getting inserted into the starting lineup and having a breakout year. But now that everybody knows exactly who you are and they're going to game plan against you, how does he follow that season up next year? Well, this year. So we're going to talk about it now in the Pelicans. Scoop, cue my music.
This is the Pelican Scoop with Jordan Kitchens, breaking down everything under the sun about your New Orleans Pelicans. Smash that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay on top of your Pels content. Now, running point, here's Jordan.
What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of the Pelican Scoop. I am your host with the most, Jordan Kitchens, and ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk. Well, I guess we're going to extend our expectation series, and finally, we're going to talk about Trey Murphy. The man with the plan. Well, I'm the man with the plan. He's not the man with the plan, but we're going to see this year. And I just want to say, guys, a lot of the offseason, I was saying, I don't really expect Trey to be back week one. I said week one. I'm just such in football brain. I don't expect Trey to be back, opening night. We'll see. But now that we're getting closer and closer, I've seen a lot of workout clips. I seen a video that the Pelicans posted yesterday where they had Trey calling his teammates and whatnot. And he called Jeremiah Fears, and he was like, hey, man, just, are you going to be ready for mini camp in Los Angeles? So the Pelicans going to have a little mini camp.
Just saying what's up. Make sure you in LA for the mini camp, bro. All right, dog.
Los Angeles. So the Pelicans going to have a little mini camp before training camp. Love to see it. Team's going to bond. Guys going to figure each other out. Guys going to get in shape. Over, under right now. Right now in the comments. Give me the betting odds if Zion Williamson will be in attendance. Just let me know. All right, I'm not here to speculate. I'm not here to do too much. I just want to know right now. Is it negative? I don't think it's a. You know what? It might be plus money. I think it's a plus money. I don't think it's a favorite that Zion will be there. It might be like plus 500 or something that Zion will be there. I mean, we'll see. And I'm starting to think Trey is going to be good to go opening night, and the Pelicans will desperately need that. So let's talk about what our expectations are for Trey this year. And honestly, this is what I think the problem is. Let me just hear and preface this. I think Trey Murphy, if you watch his game, if you watch him, obviously everybody's not going to be watching the Pelicans outside of this bubble, outside of the Gulf Coast region, outside of us, what we got going on. You got a couple guys in different countries here and there, but you got a couple guys in England, a couple guys in Australia that still tap in and listen. But other than that, it's only just this nucleus of Pelicans supporters. So outside of that, the national, people on the East Coast. Matter of fact, if you have a cousin or a family friend or a friend that knows nothing about the Pelicans, that really just might probably is a Laker fan or whatnot, ask him what they think about Trey Murphy. So it's like a lot of people still think he's like a 3-and-D type of catch and shoot guy, but last season, as we saw, his finally got inserted into the starting lineup. You finally get rid of Brandon Ingram, insert Trey Murphy into the starting lineup where he should have been. He already showed you plenty enough times that he's a starting caliber player in the NBA. So Willie Green finally ripped that Band-Aid out. They finally shipped and deported BI out the country and inserted Trey. And you saw what happened. All right, his scoring goes from 14 points last year to 21. And just as you can see, his scoring goes up every year. His rookie year went from 5 points, then to 14, then 14 again to 21. Now that he's starting. And it's like now I feel like where Trey Murphy starts to become a household name, a lot of people start to pick up. A lot of people start to pay attention. But the problem with the Pelicans, and I also feel like this is what's going to hold him back, what's going to hold Zion back, is really going to hold everybody, actual flowers that their game deserves, is winning. It's all about winning. So we can sit here and talk about, will Trey Murphy do this and that? But yeah, Trey can go out there and get his stats. Yeah, he can have a good year. But it's all about winning. Once you win, once you start to, now that you're not putting up, I guess you could say, empty stats and empty calories on, bad teams. Not even say a bad team, but you're on a bad team. So you're the man on a bad team. How does that affect winning? And we're not winning. And honestly, it's a stigma that you're just never going to shake unless you start to win. Because in the sense of people that don't pay attention to the team, you're just a good player on a bad team. What does that look like when you have other good players? What does that actually look like when you're in a functional franchise that's in all right, we got to try and make the playoffs? Like, in our mind, we see Trey Murphy as a star. We see him as a star. A lot of people just see him like, oh yeah, this guy's like a 3. He'll be like a 3rd man on a championship team or 4th man. That's how a lot of people look at Trey Murphy. And I feel like this is the year that he can put all that to noise, especially him with Zion. This is the season. Well, it has to be the season. All right, but another thing, before we talk about just winning and all this leads up into, also before I even get into that, we got to talk about another thing with Trey. He has to stay on the court. As you see from the screenshot, so his rookie year he played 62 games. Sophomore year he played 79. 2023-2024 season he played 57. That was the year with the meniscus. or like, yeah, it was his meniscus going into the season. So it's rare, Trey has these little injuries going into the season. Last year, he had the hamstring going into the year. So last year he played 53 games on 35 minutes. So you see, finally getting started minutes. 35 is real starting minutes. So you can see he's starting to get more minutes, but he has to play. He tears his labrum at the end of the year. It's just a freak accident. It's like 20 seconds into the game, falls and tears his labrum on his shooting arm, and sayonara, see you later. So in my mind, as you can see, you need to have 65 games played to be eligible to get these awards and, most improved player and whatnot. So that also was holding him back from getting his recognition, is the games played. He never has enough games played to be eligible to get rewarded, to get noticed, to get put on that type of pedestal like Herb Jones getting first team all defense a couple years back. That type of sense. Trey Murphy only had 65 games once. He's only played over 65 games once in his career. So that has changed. Also with Zion, these two guys, they have to find a way on the court. I don't know how the Pelicans keep finding themselves in a situation where they always have to rely on people that, are not there. Let's call it what it is. He's better than Zion in being there. All right, we ain't act like he's Zion, but 53 games out of 82, 57 games out of 82. You play 79. That's what we like. I'm not even asking for that. I'm asking for 70. Just give me 70. 62 out of 82. Well, I think that was the COVID. I don't know, 2021, 2022. I knew there was something going on with COVID. I don't know if that was the shortened season or whatnot, but you know what I'm saying? So in that sense, if he wants to get put on this pedestal to where he feel like he belongs, because now at this point, you see his scoring goes up every year. Now, when I'm looking at Trey Murphy, when I see 21 points, next year, I'm expecting at least 23 to 24. Probably 25, honestly. 25 for a good year. Yeah, I'm expecting that much out of Trey. Yeah, 100%. And if the Pelicans want to get to where they need to get to, Trey Murphy's going to have to average at least, like I said, 23 to 25 points a game next year. 100%. 100%. Honestly, him and Zion need to be averaging that. Now, when you look at Trey's full averages, let's have a look. So, like I said, last year it was 21 points, 5 rebounds. I would like for his rebounds to go up a lot. I would love that. I think Trey Murphy, we've seen over time and time again, you want him to start rebounding a lot more. He's just not a rebounder, but at the same time, I just think 5, if you want to be the man, that's just not enough. You're like 6'10". Trey Murphy's like 6'10". 5 rebounds to me is just not enough. I'd rather him sit around 7. Okay, so in my mind, look at last year. So 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 steal. I do like that. 1.1 steals, 0.17 block. But this is most important. He averaged 45% from the field, 36% from 3, and 88% from the free throw line. Now, if Trey Murphy, those 3-point attempts went up, his 3-pointer percentage, look, if he has a good year, he's a borderline 50, 40, 90 guy. I'm saying a lot. All right, it's hard to be a 50, 40, 90. Extremely hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to do that. And if you are one of those type of guys, you're a very proficient and efficient scorer. Right? It doesn't matter where you are on the court. You can go get your shot anywhere at any time. So, and you're going to make it whether the defense is in your face or not. So that's where the next step for Trey Murphy is, to actually make an all-star team or at least make a push. I'm not saying, the Pelicans probably don't have enough fans, but he wouldn't be a starter anyway. He'll be like one of those guys like the coaches and the general managers, like the bench. Like I think the coaches and the general managers vote on that, or like the top execs or whatever, they vote on the bench for the all-star team. He could be one of those guys. He's very highly thought of. Everybody, you heard the whole offseason. Oh, who's trading for Trey Murphy? We're trying to, everybody, well, let's give the Pelicans a Band-Aid, a pack of French fries, no lemon pepper seasoning, and a hot pocket, and we're just going to take Trey Murphy from him and the first round pick. Yeah, dude, we're going to get Trey Murphy for a water bottle, things like that. So you see how he's regarded around the league. Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted to sit here and just slap the Pelicans in the face and just take him. That's where we are as a franchise. But the only way to get that type of respect that we want and that Trey wants, Zion, I don't know what Zion wants, but that Trey wants specifically is that you got to win, and that's the only way you're going to change narrative. And you see Trey's a winning learner. All right, he improved his dribble. He stopped being reliant on everybody else to get him a shot. Now he can go sit there, take it off the dribble. I'm not just a 3-and-D guy. All right, he's still going to try and dunk on you. Wish he can get a little bit stronger so he can start finishing, but he has gotten stronger. His body has definitely changed over time. I'm not going to say like he's still like a little stick bug or whatnot, but no, Trey Murphy has definitely put on weight. So you can see that he cares about his game. He's always in the gym. The Pelicans are doing a whole mini camp. Looks like he's like the ringleader, pulling the strings and getting guys ready to go. This next step is honestly leadership, but truthfully, it's to win. It's to prove that Trey Murphy is not just a good player on a bad team, that he's actually a very low, I ain't gonna say low quality all-star, but maybe a 1 to 2 time all-star in his career type of guy. Rashard Lewis. Like, I could see Trey Murphy, in his career, maybe 1 to 3 All-Star appearances, but that all depends on if the Pelicans win. They just got to win. It's really that simple, guys. I promise you, it's that simple. People start putting Trey Murphy in these top small forward talks and like, oh, he's not just a bad player. Oh, he's actually a legit player. When you play the Pelicans, you got to worry about number 25. Like, that's his next step. It's not to keep dwelling between, oh, he can get you 20 to 22 points. No. And, on a bad team, he's just putting up stats against the Utah Jazz. Like, no. You saw what he did to the Boston Celtics last year. Like, he gets up for those moments. It's all about will the squad and will this team be able to go with him. That's why I feel like the next step and the expectation for Trey Murphy this year is I think he needs to take another jump in scoring. Rebounds obviously go up. More leadership. And healthy on the court playing. That's my expectations. I'm expecting from Trey Murphy to at least qualify to get an award. So that's over 65 games. You can play 66 for all I care. But for them, and number one, like, they got to play. They have to play this year. It's the only way. It's the only way this team will ever get out of hell is that their guys, their star players play. And Trey Murphy's on a great contract. He's on a great contract. You got guys getting $200 million contracts, and Trey Murphy's giving you 20-some points on 150. I think it's like $115 million. That's still a lot of money, but, compared to NBA money, bro, anybody get $200 million. So you got him on a good deal. It's all about will they be on the court. So y'all let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know your expectations for Trey Murphy. What is the next jump? What would you like to see? Matter of fact, yeah, you right there. You made it this far. It's just me and you. What do you think? What do you think your expectations are for Trey this year? Let me know down in the comments, man. I really want to know. Because I want to know where everybody else heads at. Like, where I told you what my expectations were, what I see. I'm still talking to you. Yeah, you. Don't worry. No, I'm not talking to everybody. Just you right now. I already told you where I think. But let me know down in the comments, man, because you get a little delusional, right? You get a little delusional, like, oh, I think this guy is what. So, man, am I delusional to be asking for these expectations? I'm not asking to be no 30-point per game scorer. Just really asking him to play over 65 games and probably get me between 23 and 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists is cool. I'm not asking you to be a point guard, but y'all let me know. Been your host of the most, Jordan Kitchens, baby, and I'm signing out. Peace.